Do you meditate? Well, we have no time for that. That's tough. Do you play any games? Oh yeah, we play 8 to 12 games a week. We're like, oh, that's how long do you play them? Like, oh, I don't know, maybe every day, all day, Like, okay, what do you get out of those games? Well, the kind of games they play turned out to be focus, relaxation.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, we get a certain kind of unique benefit from these play sessions. And we were like, sounds kind of like meditation, like focus and relaxation. And they're like, once they heard it was focus and relaxation, they're like, oh, okay. So this is our meditation. And they kind of realize, so there's a lot in the short term and medium term about intent, as we were talking about, Paul, like being intentful about it. The longer term benefits, I mean, there is a ton of research around that because a lot of folks have been doing this stuff for 30 years on the research side. And I think it's more around if you continue to train your mind to be intentful and you continue to pay attention and you continue to, be aware of, kind of cause and effect, then you are much more effective. And that is what has happened as people have seen these longitudinal studies. I'll pause there and see if does that make any sense to you?
Yeah. Right. Well, we got a comment from someone who claims to be a neuro researcher saying that plasticity and regenerative therapies are abounding. And the key word is therapy. Yeah. So I'm assuming that if they're happy with what we're saying, we're headed in the right direction here.
I think the plasticity, thing is right. So keyword is therapy.
Yeah, Trent. Yeah. Why don't we switch gears a little bit, like with Skillprint though?
Where's his comments coming from?
On that one's on X, right? What I was gonna say was like just talk more about like some of the things you're doing with Skillprint, like so because like it's a platform that developers can access and download, right? And you have some partnerships you've announced with some esports stuff. I thought that stuff might be kind of interesting to kind of just share with our audience.
Yeah, I still want to. Can I go really quickly on this neuroscience?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it is really interesting because my wife is a neurologist, as Greg, and maybe I coaxed her into being a neurologist instead of being a different type of doctor, because the mind and the brain I think is super fascinating. The plasticity stuff is really interesting, and I think you can go at this level where you have to put chipsets in the brain and kind of treat the brain almost as like a muscle, right? But we all have a mind. And I think that is one of the areas that is really kind of has not been really explored in the way it should be explored. Because what does that mean to have a mindset? Everybody has a unique mindset. And that's the one thing we all have. It's totally unique to everybody. And then you can see, given our own learned experiences, how your mindset can change. Your own mindset can change. Your friends' mindsets can change. The people around you can change. That's the plasticity around the brain and the mind. And so there's just so much there, I think, that is pretty interesting. I'm looking at this comment about the key word is therapy. I think it's kind of maybe the key word might be intervention, or maybe it's like habit building, or sort of micro awareness or something like that, because I think that is the key to the kind of future of who we are, especially in this world we live in. It's like, how do we understand who we are? That's the first step. How can you understand who you are? How can you understand where you want to go to? And how can you understand the steps in between? So I'll stop there, but we can get to the
no, I love where you're going that, because I thought you started to hit on some like really fundamental concepts, like about consciousness and stuff, right? How we kind of like I would say we don't really have a great explanation for it or definition, right? Like
like a contextual, like the same language around it in some way.
Yeah. Like, is a dog conscious? Like we'd all probably agree. Is a frog? Maybe. Is a bug? I don't know. Is a rock? It's probably not. But like, we're not really good at like understanding like what consciousness is. And I tend to think that like this gets into like the whole AI discussion, that and I like this. There's some people who say that so there's one theory, it's like AGI will be reached if we just have enough computational power. And I'm of the school that like there's more happening in consciousness than pure computation. And we don't understand what that piece is, that the computational aspect of consciousness is powerful. And like the machines we have today are like very interesting, but I'm not convinced that like more computational power will eventually birth consciousness. I think there's some other element to it that we don't know what it is at all. And it's like another leg of the stool or something like that.
Oh, what do you think?
It gets really philosophical really fast, doesn't it?
Let's go. That's where and then we'll get tactical in a second.
It gets way too philosophical. Yeah, I think we're trying to play gods with AI. I mean,
no, but let's step back. What do you think consciousness means, Paul?
Right.
Our ability to change, or our desire to change as a species.
That's as good of an explanation I've ever seen in my life. That's great, Paul. I like it.
For whatever the reason, we keep on
that's the difference between. I mean, obviously, a dog is conscious, right? But
it seems like it, yeah.
I don't think I ever wondered what it could be not as a dog.
Right, but as humans, we do wonder what
all the time.
Right, all the time, every day. All the time.